talking basketball. They're fucking dumb as shit. They don't know basketball, but they will make dumb ass jokes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pod Don't Lie with Sam and Stav, motherfucking Election Day edition. Democracy, baby. Me and Sam just voted. We exercised our right to vote. Of course, I wrote in Peja Stojakovic.
Oh, well, you know what?
I wrote in Vlade Divac. if he can run the country the way he ran the Kings, we're in business, baby.
Yeah. I feel like we have run the country the way he ran.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel like
this is basically Vlade in Sacramento.
Our country is the equivalent of passing on Luca.
100%, yes.
That is where we're at.
Oh man,
I'm looking forward to people hopefully not using the American flag emoji aggressively.
Yes, who knows? Listen, I have a bit about it when on the road now. I mean, I'll probably have to stop doing it because it's over. But it's like, look, I hope Biden wins, but man, we see just a horrible candidate. It's like we got just like a dementia off, and it's
but it's kind dementia versus mean dementia.
Yeah. It's soft A dementia versus hard R dementia. That's what Biden's campaign should be. He's the hard R. Well, I say it with a soft A. that's basically his campaign. I'm not as racist.
Are there any political jokes you're bummed to burn?
I mean, not really. It just about I was just talking about how much, how Biden is like the funniest choice the Democrats could have picked. He'd be the funnest to hang out with, but I'm not too bummed. It's just like, I mean, I just want, hopefully, knock on wood, but I can't believe I waited in line to vote for Joe Biden, dude. I feel like a girl that's like taking a 40-minute Uber at 1 a.m. for some mediocre dick. You know what I mean? It's like, I just don't respect myself enough to be like, no, I can't do it. I'm like, fine, Joe, you're right. The other guy is... All the other dick I get is worse, but this isn't good dick. That's
good.
I feel like a fucking e-girl, dude.
Trump is, he is. I think Trump would be fun to hang out with because even like I picked, although terrible president, obviously, but he is the type of dude that like you'd be like at a burger place with at 3 a.m. after like a failed night, and he'd be like, the worst burger I ever ate. He'd be like complaining about the food. He's got that like New York energy where like I relate to that pessimism.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like, he is god-awful human
I know,
being.
dude. It's funny that they stole being able to laugh at Trump from us because he was always like such a fucking loser, and he was so like so weird, and like all his mannerisms are like weird, and he's like homophobic, but he seems gay, and he's got horrible. I mean, and his old feud with Rosie O'Donnell was one of the funniest things of all time. But then when he's the president, it's just not. It's like, damn, the president was calling Rosie O'Donnell a fat pig.
And people were applauding.
Yeah.
People were like, he's such a great public speaker. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's just calling Rosie fat.
Yeah, he's on meth, dude. He's on Adderall and just roasting people. But anyway.
I'm bummed. There's a couple I'm bummed to burn, but like I'm also kind of like sick of them anyway. I'm sick. I had a Kamala joke where it was like how I'm glad he picked her because she fucked him up with that debate, and he was still like, that's my gal, so like I relate to that as a man for a woman to destroy me, and I'm like, let's make it work, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of like topical ones. I'm like, oh, I'm sad, but I'm also like, what am I going to tell these jokes forever? I got a good month out of it.
You got a good month out of him, baby. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Hopefully, it's good. It's funny. It's funny how
gonna last
different.
Another month.
Yeah, this election is gonna go till fucking March.
Unless Trump becomes an emperor, we're not gonna know who won for a while.
I know. It's funny. This is really funny because this might be one of the last things we record before the election. It probably will be. I mean, we're recording this it's around noon, and our tones are gonna shift so dramatically when it's the fucking purge tonight.
Oh, I know.
It's just like shit is just getting. Trump's like, I won. I got all the electoral votes, and we're just like,
I
But
think
whatever.
there's footage of me on, I forgot what podcast, I think it might have been Bobby Kelly's, 2016, the night of the election. I was just like, well, Hillary's got it in the bag. Everyone knows that. I was such a smug dipshit.
We'll see what happens, folks. So
Trump
in
is
the
one of those things you don't think is real. He's like one of those, like, I remember I was talking to a pretty famous Fox News personality, but this was like 2015 or maybe early 2016. He was
Right.
having a beer and he was telling me like he will be a someone who I'm sure has been defending him nonstop. I don't watch Fox News.
right,
But like
right.
he was telling me he has been a dog shit. He will be a dog shit president. He said, however, I will say one of the best hangs ever. Like
Yeah,
I've been on
probably.
this private jet. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
A private jet without the guilt of going to a pedophile's island.
Right.
That's got to be pretty nice.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's just going to Miami
Yes.
instead of Little St. James, it's probably fine.
If you're just avoiding a fucking commercial jet, it's great.
yeah.
If you don't have to ride with a pedophile, you're like, this is amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, folks, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
By the
Sorry,
time
we're
you-
not usually a political podcast, but how do you avoid it today? Of all
by
days?
the time you listen to this, me and Sam will have been executed by a Trump death squad for talking shit. We'll be attending the Joe Biden execution where Trump gets rid.
Right before one of Trump's henchmen shoots me, he'll be like, "Oh yeah, and the Knicks will never be good."
No, it'd be even worse. One of Trump's henchmen's like, James Dolan just sold the team. And you're like, what? And then he shoots you in the back of the head. You'll never get to live in a world where Dolan sells the team.
And they traded up for LaMelo Ball.
Yeah,
No!
LaMelo fell to them at 9. Yes. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about it's so yeah, there is some stuff to talk about here. We were talking about how it's been nonstop. There hasn't really been a major piece of news drop since we last recorded, but there's still a lot to deal with. We've got the draft coming up in 2 weeks here.
Seems that Anthony Edwards is going to go first as of now.
Yeah, I've been diving into the draft just a little bit. I'm coming away feeling a little optimistic for the Knicks. I think we're going to get a good player. Yeah, I really do.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
You think what one of the point guards available is where we have to? I think point guard or small forward is a no-brainer.
Well, I think so. I've been kind of like reading a little. Like I've been ignoring the draft mostly. I don't really know who any of these you hear the big three of Edwards and Wiseman and LaMelo from the beginning, but I just I've kind of dove into, I've been reading a lot about these guys. I still haven't done the full thing, but it really feels like this week there's been some momentum for LaMelo falling, which is good for us. If he falls deep enough, it's
I think his dad will be great for the Garden media. I think that's a great idea.
Well, here's the thing. If Melo falls and it's something that maybe we can get him. There might be a bidding war for him if he falls deep. So here's the thing. If he goes out of the top 3, which, if the Timberwolves say we don't want him, he doesn't make sense. And then Golden State's like, we don't want him. He's a project. He completely he just doesn't make any sense with the Warriors.
Right.
And then Charlotte says, well, we want a big man. Then
why? Because Charlotte has Rozier and Devontae Graham.
Yeah, they have Devontae Graham, and they're like, we want a big man or a wing or a pure wing, not a point guard.
Atlanta is Trae Young. You can't play Trae Young with LaMelo.
Right. Chicago's number 4. They need wings. They need wings way more than they need guards.
I don't know though. I do feel maybe you're right.
I don't know.
Dude, you're sounding like a Knicks fan, and I'm worrying. Because
No. Here, let me explain. I just think
Cleveland's definitely not taking him.
Cleveland won't take him, right? At 5.
Detroit will take him.
Detroit might take him, but here's the thing. If he falls all the way to 6, jumping from 6 to 9 is not going to be.
No, we have 8. The Knicks.
We have 8. Oh, dude, if jumping from 8 to 6, it won't be that. But here's the thing. Let's say even if he falls and big men go, hopefully there's a run on big men. because maybe Wiseman goes, and then Onyeka
But
Okongwu.
I don't want a big man.
That's what I'm saying, Sam. Here, let me explain my grand theory for the Knicks. If there's a run on big men, because we saw, let's say the Warriors take Wiseman, right? Let's say they can't figure out a trade, and they stick with Wiseman because he can sort of play. He can right now be sort of like their 5, their role man, their JaVale McGee as a rookie. He can be like JaVale, and he can grow into a bigger role over time.
Much more skilled than JaVale.
Right, but what I'm saying is, as a rookie, he's going to be dog shit, right? So a really good player in his rookie year can be JaVale at the end of his career. You know, like he can do for the Warriors what that token 5 that they have. So let's say they stick there because they can't work out a deal because this is a fucking draft that nobody really gives a fuck about. From everything that I've read in the last week, Charlotte seems to really want a big man. They really want either Wiseman or the guy who's jumped up as their potential choice is Onyeka Okongwu, who's a USC big man.
Yeah.
And in general, I think we saw a lot of teams talking about centers because of Anthony Davis, because of Jokic. People are like, damn, maybe we do. Maybe there is like
for the playoffs,
maybe this is a valuable thing. Yeah.
So you think LaMelo might he might fall to us, is what you're saying?
So no, I'm not saying he falls to us, but let's say there's a run on bigs, right? And there's even then a run on wings. We really need either a wing or a point guard. Let's say if LaMelo falls, if
not going to fall to 8.
Let's just say he doesn't. Even if he doesn't fall, then maybe we can get Tyrese Halliburton, who seems fucking good.
He seems good. I like him.
He's really good. He seems like he's a really good playmaker. He's the guy that I'm like, I kind of want us to get him because people talk about him as like a good culture guy. People talk about him as like a really smart player. And he's the kind of guy that, let's say we draft him and we get Chris Paul, and then it's like you mentor him or something. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, I like him. But then also people talk about Killian Hayes, the guy from France, who some people have him a lot of there's no consensus.
He's a big point guard. I don't think he falls to us. I think Chicago, it looks like in a mock draft.
Who, Halliburton? Or Killian Hayes?
Killian Hayes.
Well, I'm just saying, if there's a run on centers, which we don't need at all, and guards drop, maybe we get 1 out of 3 of LaMelo, Halliburton, or Hayes. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm starting to feel a little better about where the Knicks are.
Thank you. You're cheering me up a little bit.
You hear that? How about that? It's my turn to be a fucking delusional Knicks fan. I can't let you carry the load week in and week out. I need you. You know what I mean? I need you well rested for the actual season. So this is like when LeBron load manages in like the middle of the season, where it's like, we can't have you too tired for the actual season when the Knicks are out of the playoffs by 8 games, and you're like, I don't know if we get hot. If Chicago loses a couple games, that's when we need you to. That's our playoffs. Is right before the All-Star break when you're making the case that the Knicks can still make the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's so. Right now in the offseason,
Julius, he's
been looking good.
Why can't he average 24 in 10?
Is it that much different? He gets the line a couple more times. He improves his percentages a little bit. 25 and 11.
Julius Randle, I think, will be. It's funny because there's all these trade rumors for Julius Randle, but then the Knicks Instagram just shows like, look how hard he's working and
right
practice, and he's draining threes. I'm like, well, maybe this is how we get some buzz going. We got a lot of followers on that Knicks page, big market.
Yes, they're trying. That's the only way they can do it. It's not going to be on the fucking floor.
They're just paying to do like what really highly produced videos and like draining threes, and other teams are like, wait a second, that's all we have.
Absolutely, yeah. They're gonna do like fucking collabs with Fuck Jerry and the Fat Jew. They're trying to get his numbers up. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know, man. And so we are probably next week or the week after. I mean, the draft is coming close, but we should do our actual draft episode. Maybe we do that next week, actually, dude. I would love to get into it.
I'm in. Rock.
So yeah, there's some players I'm pretty interested in, and who knows? I think I'm feeling optimistic, man. I think this is a draft where it's better to be 8 necessarily than it is to be fucking 1 to 3. I know, as crazy as that sounds, it's like it reminds me. People talk about it, and it reminds me of the Anthony Edwards draft. Anthony Bennett draft. Yeah. Sorry, damn. Not a good sign.
The Anthony Edwards draft.
Yeah. The Anthony Bennett draft. That motherfucker's not even in the league, and so hopefully, You know, we get some fucking gems in there.
And apparently this guy Denny Avdija, I don't know.
Denny Abdia, yes,
Avdija from
Israeli.
Israel. Everyone's saying he's a bad motherfucker. Maybe he'll be the best Jewish player ever, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah, he seems good, but he's another guy that like is like a good playmaker, but he just has like see what's weird is
Sounds like anti-Semitism that's coming out of your mouth here, stuff.
yeah no, because I thought
Like people that are like, I don't think Bernie can win. I just don't think.
hey, how
like,
dare
wait, why
you?
are you saying that?
Don't make me get a Denny Abdia shirt. You know how I feel about Bernie.
They say socialist, but what they mean is Jew. That's what they really mean.
The thing about Avdia that is weird to me is that he's not a good shooter. Like everyone compares him to like I've seen comparisons like Gallinari, Saric, but like his jumper seems to be pretty fucked up, and so do and which is normally whatever, but apparently free throw shooting is how you can tell how somebody's there's the biggest indicator for 3-point and any kind of shooting in lower levels. And he's not a great shooter, but you know, he's 6'9", he's a really good passer, and he's somebody that some people have talked about the Warriors, but also at number 4, the Bulls with, you know, Karsanovich or whatever the fuck his name is.
If they take him, that's a pretty big message to Markkanen.
I don't think so. I think he's more of a wing. Denny Avdija is more of a he's not.
He's
I don't think
6'9". I mean, maybe you're right, but I mean,
isn't Laurie 7 feet?
He plays a 4 though, because they have Wendell Carter. So
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, if you draft this kid, his comps that I've seen, you say Gallinari, I've seen Turkoglu. Turkoglu played the 4 on the
Back
Magic
then,
before
yeah.
this shit. I think he's probably going to play the 4 in the NBA. Maybe not as a youngin, because
That's interesting. Yeah,
but
I mean, I don't know how good he is at I mean, if he's the kind of if one of his, I don't know if he's a good defender, but if he's a good defender and he can stay on the wing, then that's a huge. But you're right, probably he doesn't seem like he is.
Gallinari, who is a free agent, right? So
yes, Gallo is a free agent.
I mean, I wonder. That's an interesting player. Like he could impact the word on the street.
Here we go. Word on the street.
The hottest segment on the pod.
Yes.
Dude, well, people are saying he should take the minimum to sign with the Lakers to give them an edge, which I would.
The minimum? No,
I don't think.
Not
think
the minimum. The mid-level exception.
Mid-level exception.
10 million a year. Yeah. 10 a year is reasonable. I mean, he could. I mean, in a better year, he might be the kind of guy that would get some kind of JJ Redick, like, you know, Kyle Lowry, like, you know, load him up for 1 year type of deal. If the finances were better, like I could see, and more people had cap space. Year,
right? Yeah,
but it's a really tough year. Cap, you know, not that many people have cap space.
Also, you probably want to, given what this year is, you probably want to sign a long-term deal as opposed to like a let me prove it in some fucking weird bubble situation. So
yeah,
you know, because they're saying players are making like 35 to 40% left.
Yeah, so what's going to happen is they're putting their money in escrow. So they don't get their money, and it's like, just in case we lose money, we have to keep this.
Well, apparently the NBA owes $4 million in rent to the NBA store in Midtown as well.
That's hysterical.
There's all these weird, shady things about the NBA being like, "Oh yeah, we don't have the money." Like,
yeah. First of all, fuck off. See, here's the thing. Well, here's why the NBA can suck my and the owners can suck my fucking dick. The Utah Jazz just sold for $1 billion fucking dollars. $1 billion. You like these franchises.
Not that much to be an NBA owner.
What's that?
I feel like $1 billion is like not that much to be an NBA owner.
But that's the fact that you even have that opinion shows you how valuable these franchises are. Dude.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like
because remember when Donald Sterling was like forced to sell for like over $2 billion.
$2 billion. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, you just got $2 billion.
Oh yeah, exactly. Wow. Big punishment
for the second most popular franchise in the city.
Yeah, not even. Somehow it's less than second. Somehow that's how unpopular the Clippers are in LA.
I love that his version of getting canceled was like, here's $2.4 billion.
Yeah, well, that's rich people. That's how rich people get canceled. The only motherfuckers that actually get effectively canceled are poor. Let's never forget
or
that.
Epstein. Epstein did technically get canceled.
I think he got a little. I would say that's a little more than a cancellation. I would say. I don't think Epstein and Shane Gillis had the same went through the same stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I also don't think they did the same stuff.
Yeah. Exactly.
In Shane's defense.
Totally, 100%. And look, Shane doesn't have a Hillary Clinton death squad. after him.
Yet.
Yeah,
Not
that's
yet.
true. But actually, back to my point, it affected his life a lot more than it did Donald fucking Sterling.
For
But
sure.
it's always
Absolutely.
poor people always get fucked. Let's never forget that, folks. Uh, anyway, yes, there's Gallinari's interesting. I think him with the mid level with the Lakers is interesting because as much as the Lakers, you see LeBron and you see AD, but their offense was kind of dog shit. Like it really was. It stalled a lot, especially when LeBron was off the floor. Even with
Sure.
AD there, it was not good. And when you have Danilo, it's like, sure, you are giving up. As much as you want to shit on Kuzma, he was actually not bad defensively the second half of the year. So you're giving up a lot of defense with Danilo. But
Danilo would fit really well though because
the offense,
he
yeah,
can play the 4. That way you get the way they have the go big, go small option with Dwight Howard, who
right.
is not amazing, but he had some good moments. Then you want to go small, you play AD at the 5, you throw in Danilo
Danilo at the 4. LeBron
That's
is basically your point guard.
I mean, that's a long. I know Danilo's not a great defender, but God, he's like
He's
such
a bad.
good
He's
shooter.
he's a bad defender.
He's a great shooter though.
Yeah. No, exactly. Offensively, it would give the Lakers the ability to put a really good offensive. I mean, if you have just those three, LeBron, AD, and Gallinari on the floor, and you just have like two guys that are, in theory, if Danny Green comes back next year instead of looking like dog shit, like the theoretical Danny Green on the Raptors, Danny Green on the Spurs is perfect on that squad. Even
He
KCP.
is a great defender, though. He is a great. KCP was outstanding in the finals.
Yeah.
I mean, so Danilo does give you that open shot though, where you're like, man, Danny Green missed a lot of those open shots. Danilo ain't missing those.
Right. For sure. So yeah, I mean, Gallinari would be fucking incredible, for them. But I think they also
Gallinari on the Nuggets makes sense, right?
back a homecoming.
Eat some of those Millsap minutes. Millsap is still a tough player, but man, he missed a lot of those threes. I think Danilo opens up that offense for sure. Defensively with Danilo and Jokic could be problematic.
Yeah, it's like if you have Gallinari there, then it's like Jokic, Gallinari. They re-signed Grant.
Who was excellent.
They gotta re-sign Grant. I mean, he was fucking perfect for them.
He fits their team well. I think it's like
perfect.
It's really good for both of them. So.
Yeah. And listen, even if not, he made himself a lot of money the way he defended LeBron this playoffs.
And he had a couple of hot offenses.
And he had some really nice. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he saved him in a couple games when Murray and Jokic were off. But if you do that, and then it's like, then here's the thing: don't you think Gallinari kind of clashes with what MPJ is supposed to give you? Isn't Michael Porter Jr. kind of Gallinari-ish? I mean, more offense, obviously, more athleticism.
More of a creator, I think. I think Gallinari is, at this point of his career, a bit more of a spot-up shooter. He's not really going to be like beating you off the dribble quite as much. But MPJ at his peak, pretty explosive. He will attack and throw down the rim. And
so what I'm saying is, it's like
Gallo can't bring those conspiracy theories to the court.
That's true.
MPJ can.
That's true. That is a very good point. Gallo seems like he believes in vaccines. Crazy. You know how hard it is to be less racist, to be more of a like QAnon guy and less than an Italian. That Danilo is not as racist as
more pizza, less pizza gate.
Yeah. Anyway. But that's basically what I mean is like in Denver, he kind of overlaps with MPJ is sort of a more dynamic, less skilled Gallo, really, because he's the same size.
I don't know. I mean, less skilled. He's a kid. I mean, this kid, he could be
right. I'm just saying right now. Right now. So it does that one to me.
That also depends on the leap he takes forward next year. I don't know. Like he is much
true. Gallinari's a known commodity.
Gallinari would maybe fit their offense slightly better at this point of his career, but like MPJ, that guy's ceiling is insanely high. The only question marks are like his personality, really. Like when he goes to the media and complains he's not getting enough. We're not sharing the ball enough. Just say, I wish I took a few more shots to the team, not to the fucking media.
Right. I mean, which is why part of me is like, if there's any kind of big trade happening, he makes sense as a centerpiece because, he's the kind of young he's shown that he has star ceiling. And maybe as a culture, you want him the fuck out of there if you're the fucking if you're the Nuggets. Like if
already, right?
And and also theoretically, he makes a lot more like
you could say the same
Wizards.
about D'Angelo Russell, though.
Yeah,
the Lakers would love to have D'Angelo Russell right now.
Sure, but the Lakers didn't have Jokic and Murray on the roster. You know what I mean? They got LeBron, but it was like everything was going to change.
But I'm just saying, sometimes you give up on these guys when they're legit young.
Well, here's the thing: if they had D'Angelo Russell, he'd be in New Orleans right now. So it doesn't really matter to the fucking Lakers.
True.
You know what I mean? Like
New Orleans wishes they had him.
Yeah, New Orleans wishes they were more patient. Dude, D'Angelo. Oh, yeah, you're right. If they'd kept D'Angelo, then you could do a trade of D'Angelo plus Ingram, and that's it. And you got to keep the other role players. Probably
you have to keep Lonzo Ball.
Yeah. Who imagine Lonzo under Rondo? That would have been a nice little tutelage right there.
Rondo, such a high IQ guy. I love playoff Rondo, man. Also, he's fucking ripped. Did you see that picture of him shirtless when they won the championship? I was like, Jesus, look. Yeah. I've never seen a point guard with those shoulders. That's insane.
He's in good ass shape for sure. It's like that's the thing. It's like we watch basketball. And you're like, shoof, these guys are getting old, and it's like he's 32. He's like, there's just our age. It's like if we saw like a guy our age just ripped, we'd be like, damn, that's a young fucking muscular guy. It's like, yeah, Rondo is our age, and he's just like a professional athlete.
We're like, that guy's getting old. We're smoking cushy dreams on the couch. Drinking a glass of scotch. Oh, man, he's gonna get it together. He's washed up.
That's right. And and that is actually the only what you described. Cushy dreams is actually a key part to what keeps us youthful, actually.
Absolutely.
So in fact, I think we can all agree that was a bad analogy, Sam.
Wow. I'm like the Michael Porter of this podcast here.
Well, here's the thing. But all that Scott, the only reason we don't look horrible is because we smoke cushy dreams. Because we're a couple hard living guys, me and Sam.
Hell yeah.
I can't say that I only smoke CBD. I've put other things in my body, whether that's tobacco, whether that's, some other, an 8-inch dildo that somehow I got made special because it was, a replica of mine, just 1.4 times bigger. That's well, just making a girl fuck me with a bigger version of my own dick. And the way I got that idea was by smoking Cushy Dreams Create. That's what's beautiful about Cushy Dreams. They have so many blends that they have stuff for energy. They have hustle that makes you get up. They have dream. That puts you to bed, a different, and they have
puts you to bed, but it also makes you think of what the Knicks could become again.
That's right.
I dream big, baby. I smoke that Cushy Dreams. I'm just like, RJ Barrett, all-star, surpassing Tyler Hero next year.
That's right.
Mitchell Robinson, DeAndre Jordan in his prime. Pat Riley, maybe he'll come back to coach at some point.
That's right. Sam is smoking that dream, and I'm smoking that create and thinking of new ways to get fucked by women. And that's what's beautiful about Cushy Dreams. It's high quality CBD. It gets you a nice little buzz without getting you stoned, without getting you high, without making you feel sluggish like marijuana does. Sure. So it feels like high quality marijuana. It smokes like it, smells like it. You get the experience, but you don't get the negative effects. But you're feeling kind of, you're in there. You're feeling a little buzz. You're feeling pretty good. So
MPJ needs some of that relax.
MPJ needs relax before he hits the press conference. I'll tell you that much. So
he's going up to Jokic, Pizzagate. Think about it. Jokic, just fucking pass me the ball.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up and go spot up, you fuck piece shit. So if you want to be like me and Sammy and you want to order yourself, look, they got pre-rolls, they got gram joints of Cushy Dreams. They got eighths, they got 3.5 G's of it. Whatever you prefer, however you want to smoke it, whether it's pre-rolled, whether you want to put it in a little fucking pipe. whatever it is, go to cushydreams.com, KUSHY dreams.com. Use promo code PODDON'T, PODDONT, and you will get 20% off your first order. It used to be 15, but the Pod Don't Lie listeners are coming in with such hard dicks that they increased it. So take advantage of that. Smoke up some fucking Cushy Dreams. See, listen, go hit it right now. See if you can get a rush order, and you can have it right now before Trump outlaws.
Before the apocalypse.
Before the apocalypse. Stock up on Cushy Dreams. So that's cushydreams.com.
Sure, people will be throwing bricks through your windows, but you'll be at peace.
You'll be at peace. You'll be lighting up a fat graham pre-roll of peace and enjoying yourself.
Yeah, dude.
As you're beheaded by a MAGA tribunal.
I don't know. I shouldn't be laughing. This does not feel like it's a joke. That's one of those jokes where you're like, yeah, I can see it happening.
Nah, we're good here, dude.
Yeah.
New York is fine, dude.
Yeah, they've got guns and we've got our fucking opinions. We're in great shape.
We're gonna be mouthy towards them. We're gonna be listen. They might have a fucking grenade launcher, but Sam was on Comedy Central's roast battle, so he better not wear stupid looking shoes because we are gonna have a field day with that one. All right.
They've got a militia, but we've got arms to cross, and we've got some good analogies.
Oh, we are gonna kill them with the similes. If it's wordplay versus bullets, we got them there. So, anyway, yes, damn, I truth be told, I have been smoking Cushy Dreams, but I have also gotten back into somebody gave me some edibles and I have been going buck wild off them shits.
Really? I even sleep.
Yeah. I got so fucking high the other day that it was, when you try and go, you're so fucked up and you try and get to your bed and how many different places you can end up falling asleep. I was just like, so I'm on the couch and I'm like, and I take a nap and I'm like, it's 11:30. All my friends are like, it was my roommate's birthday. So we got stoned, ate cake and watched King of the Hill. And they're like, all right, good night. And I'm like, all right, fuck it. Like I'll watch one more episode. And I just like wake up an hour later. I'm like, okay, time to get up, time to go. And then like, on my way to the living room, on my way to my bedroom is the kitchen, and I just see like out of the corner of my eye like some fucking popcorn kernels, and I'm like,
oh yes,
I could go for a little fresh popcorn. So I'm stoned as shit at midnight, just putting like olive oil, getting my own seasoning mix, popping fresh popcorn in the middle of the night. So I'm eating that, and then I just sit back down on a chair just to eat a little popcorn. Like I'm just talking to my roommate comes out, has a little bit more, and I fall asleep on the chair again. And then I get to my bed and I'm in my bed. I'm ready to fucking go. I'm like, all right, let me just fucking go brush my teeth. Just pass out fully clothed over my sheets. Wake up at 6 a.m. Wake up at 6 a.m. The worst.
You're living like a grandpa.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Just get up, brush my teeth, go to bed until fucking 10 a.m. And I finally got to bed, got to 6 to 10 a.m., which was huge. You got to get that. But I didn't get to bed, Tech. I was so fucking stoned. I didn't get to bed till 6 a.m. this morning. So that was
hilarious.
Yeah, dude. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. I love the couch naps. I love just falling asleep on the couch. But it's bad. You don't get a nice rest that way. No,
yeah, I have back problems, so I'm at a bad angle. I'm like, ugh.
Totally. Neck's all fucked up. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, what else should we fucking cover here? I mean, I have a couple.
Well, the Morey news is pretty.
We talked about it on the Patreon.
Briefly on the Patreon, but then he posts the pic of him FaceTiming Joel Embiid.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And he seems to think, I don't know if this is part of his master plan. He seems to think Joel and Simmons should still work, and I feel like it should. You just got to get rid of Richardson and Horford. Doesn't fit in my opinion.
But you know what? He's a solid. Richardson's good. That's the problem with like the Sixers.
He's good, but he doesn't fit.
They were so poorly put together that you have a lot of talent on the like. That's why I think the more you think about it, Morey makes sense. He loves stars, right? Like now we think about it going into everything the Sixers fucked up, but from Morey's perspective, he doesn't give a fuck about that. he's not beholden to any of that. He doesn't care about any of the mistakes that were made. All he sees is I get a roster with Embiid and Simmons,
Yes.
and let me fucking fix it. He'll fucking trade everybody off, I think. I mean, I think Horford, again, another thing.
I think Harris could stay. I think Harris could still work. I think you have to dump Richardson and Horford.
I think Horford is the bigger problem. Richardson at least gives you. He's a solid ball handler. I mean, he's not a point guard. He's not a traditional point guard.
I don't think he's quite. I think you need a slightly better shooter, and you. I mean, you got to play.
That's
Embiid.
fair.
You got to play Embiid at the 5, and you need because Embiid when he does post up and play physical, it's like fuck. Who can stop that? So.
Right.
I think you play him at the 5, and then you get a 4 who can shoot. Honestly, Gallinari would be great for them.
That's interesting. Gallinari at. But see, the thing is, I feel
Gallinari
like
would open up Tobias Harris's game, and that way you still get the defense of Embiid.
But see, to me, Gallo and Tobias are both zeros on defense. And then you know what? If that's the case, why don't you just keep fucking Richardson? I mean, if you have 2 shooters like Tobias and Gallo, Richardson's okay, and he's your 2. He can handle sometimes. I don't know.
I think having Embiid and Simmons, you need 3 good shooters.
I think fucking Simmons they're gonna play him at power forward. I think he's gonna be the 4.
Well, then maybe you need a new point guard.
Exactly. I think that's exactly it. I think
honestly, this is weird, but you know who would be
Chris
great
Paul.
for them? I was gonna say Fred VanVleet.
Ooh, they don't have the money. They don't even come close to the money.
Who does have the money? Do.
Okay, there we go. Maybe they do a sign and trade to. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. That
just depresses me. Every YouTube thing, like I think it was The Jump, and the headline was "The Knicks are where bad contracts go to die," and I was like, "Fuck you, fuck you." Julius is not that bad a contract, and the rest are 1-year deals.
Are they team options or player options? I thought they were team options. So
options, so we can wipe any of these dudes clean. I will also say. Well, there is no reason why we shouldn't be taking on bad contracts as long as we get picks in return.
I agree with you 100%.
That's my only issue with taking CP3. I love him, but if we're giving up picks, this is a rebuild, and we need to do it the right way. So I like that I did steer a Sixers conversation right back to my
right back.
Randall from the corner.
Yes, and that is where all those 1-year deals didn't make any sense. It's like that precluded them from being able to play that game of like taking on bad contracts.
Yeah.
And for picks. Like literally, we could have been in a place where the Warriors traded Iguodala. Like that could have been us. But and I mean the Grizzlies played that perfectly. Getting a pick to take him on and then getting assets, even though you can argue Winslow's gonna be dog shit, but they did something. They played it really well.
I like what the Grizz are doing, and I really like Dylan Brooks. I think he's like a tough guy. I think he's like perfect for a young Ja, because Ja is, a physical guard, but then you throw in Dylan Brooks. He can shoot the 3.
Yeah,
he plays hard-ass D, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I like Grayson Allen, dude. He was stroking it. He can shoot the ball. He is a shooter.
Yeah, he can. He's one of the only guys that could shoot. That's why
he's
he was
a
playing.
better NBA player than I thought he would be. And then
He's not very good.
Nasty. He's a great shooter though, and that's
Grayson barely plays, bro. You saw they had to put him in at the end because he
had a couple hot games going into the bubble
because they had no shooting whatsoever. They had absolutely no, so they had to play
making
him.
The shots, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think he's bad because of his face. But
because he looks like skinny ass Ted Cruz.
That's because he looks like skinny Ted Cruz and he went to Duke. Yeah. Come on, man. That's 2 strikes right there.
Hateable for sure. And dirty.
Very hateable. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Back to talk a little bit more about the Sixers thing. It's like, I think it seems like it's not going to be that hard to trade Horford because his contract in the grand scheme of things isn't that long. And I think people are talking themselves into him being useful. Again, what we talked about in the draft conversation where people need 5s. They need to, especially contenders, need to guard, some real big centers in Davis and Jokic and, whoever else, Bam.
Yeah.
So he will have some value that I think, and when I say value, I mean, they're not going to have to attach picks. And that's the thing. That's why I think
I mean, they might have to. I mean, because
that's why I think Morey is such a great. That's why I think it's such a great hire because he just does the little things really fucking well. He's a great like. You could argue he's not. We don't really know how good he is at evaluating talent. Like he's like Presti. Like some GMs make their name that way. Presti, still has a great draft record, and all these guys. The Heat have a pretty good draft record, all that kind of shit. But and we don't know that that's the case. But Morey, where his strengths clearly lie, are in trades, deal making. I mean, the James Harden trade is probably the best trade ever. He consistently figures out how to get value where he does not have it, and so deal making, which they need, and also improving a roster around the edges with we talked about him a little bit in the Patreon, but like guys like Daniel House, we talked about it, how he'll find random guys to be useful right in that situation. Sure. And I think that's the two things Philly needs the absolute most of is a guy who can make the best trades with almost nothing, and somebody who can find guys off the scrap heap to fill it out. And, I mean, Philly, the one time they had a pretty good run, did that when they had Bellinelli in his last scrap of being good.
Bellinelli was fun, dude.
It was Bellinelli and it was Ilyasova that they got off the scrap heap and that, like, powered that little run that was a really fun team before they traded everybody.
Bellinelli, R.I.P. to Via della Pace, East Village, great casualty of the fucking pandemic.
That sucks. That place was awesome.
Great spot. Gallinari would go there every night. I once saw Steve Nash in there. They had Bellinelli's jersey hung from there.
That rules.
Great, low, not inexpensive Italian food.
Yeah.
Fuck this pandemic, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Motherfuck this pandemic.
It took our meatballs.
Brutal.
So anyway, I think it's good for the Sixers. And it's just a little messy. I mean, the Sixers are always messy. They basically just like. They basically just start cheating on they're one of those people that just starts cheating to get out of a relationship where it's like they did that to Hinkie. They're like, no, we're just friends with the fucking what the fuck are those Italians? That Italian family? The Colangelos. No, us and the Colangelos are just friends. And then, meanwhile, then they get double teamed by the dad and the son. They hire the dad, who then is like, oh, you know what would fix this team? Hiring my son. And then they fire Hinkie, and then
Elton Brand too has got to be like, what the fuck, dude? I thought this was my job.
Elton Brand was the side bitch that worked his way up to main girl, and now he's like, what the hell? I'm getting cheated on. And now some big dick from Houston is flying in. Yeah, and that's what Morey's the new bad bitch.
We're the only podcast where you can literally hear sirens every episode. It's amazing. God bless Pod Don't Lie. Well, I do think Morey's got to be like, hey, I'm not trying to fucking kill you here.
Well, it doesn't matter. He's the fucking boss. I mean, he is.
I know, but it probably makes more sense for them to work together, just to have a harmonious situation in Philly, which there never is.
I mean, if you're Brand, though, here's the thing. If you're Brand, and if you're a survivor, if you're just like, I just want to keep a job. I mean, not that I don't know why, because he has the money. He's not like a guy.
You're saying like he's Steve Mills after they brought in.
Exactly. It's like Brand. Exactly. Yeah. It's like he just kind of listen. A lot of people are saying that it was the ownership that signed Horford, like really was adamant about Horford and was adamant.
That is the word on the street.
That is the word on the street. And that was adamant about, not giving Jimmy the 50 years and choosing Tobias over Jimmy, which is fucking stupid. At the same time, if the team isn't good, you could absolutely see Horford leaving.
A big three of Jimmy, Simmons, and Embiid. It sounds pretty fucking deathly.
Oh my! Can you imagine how different things would be? I mean,
and then that's when you sign two shooters to go to round out that starting five. And then you have a vicious, like, imagine them with just fucking even Duncan Robinson or someone at that level.
Oh, I mean, Duncan Robinson's a great shooter. Yeah.
Great shooter.
They would love to get Duncan Robinson.
But I'm saying someone like that who can just hit open shots.
Those guys are hard to find in today's NBA, though. I gotta say.
True. but even a fucking Kyle Korver, man, just a guy who'll give you. I know
No, dude. As somebody who watched the Bucks and was very,
Korver
was
what it
really
was.
hoping for, was needed Korver in some minutes. It ain't.
Yeah,
Kyle
I do
Korver.
like the Bucks system of like, yeah, Korver and George Hill were too old 2 years ago on LeBron's Cavs. Let's sign them with a younger, less proven Greek freak.
Yeah, dude. George Hill did shoot great from three. We really wasted
Wide open. But the Bucks play one way. The Bucks play one way, and in the playoffs, they're going against teams that can switch it up more. Too much reliance on Giannis.
Yeah. This is Bud. Bud has got to prove himself this year, or Giannis will be fucking gone, baby.
Or the famous pegging theory could be true.
That's true. He's not going to prove himself because that's the only way he can come, is by being a humiliation fetish.
The Budenholzer worm fetish theory. The famous
fucking worm.
You worm.
Yeah, you're nothing.
Giannis is trash.
You suck. He's leaving. You're gonna lose Giannis.
Rings. AD has one. Ow.
Yeah. She's just playing First Take where people are calling him overrated while she's fucking him. Our famous Budenholzer is a cuck.
You're no Spoelstra.
Yeah.
Brad Stevens made it further than you.
Yeah, they fuck me. I'm gonna let Brad Stevens fuck me. You'll never get this pussy.
Nick Nurse has a ring.
I suck Nick Nurse. I suck Nurse and his whole staff off. I would never touch your little pathetic dick. You loser. That's our theory that Budenholzer can only come. He's a sub, and his fetish is being humiliated for not winning in the playoffs.
And honestly, I think it's played pretty well thus far.
I think it's, I'd like to see a competing theory. I haven't seen one.
You're up 2-0 against the Raptors. What do you think? Fuck this up. Ow!
Going ass to mouth on a dildo. Anyway. Yeah, so let's get a couple fucking mailbags in here. What do you say, Sammy?
I love a hot mailbag. You know I love mailbags, dog.
Here we go. This is from Mike Toner, who says, hey guys, longtime listener and patron here. Derrick Rose had the best per 36 stats of his career with the Pistons last year. Obviously, he's not the Derrick of 2010, but still he's playing the most efficient minutes he's ever played. 26 minutes per game last year. How are the teams not drooling over him at $7 million? I'm biased because I'm a Chicago guy. When the Pistons came to town last year, the place went wild. Every time he got the ball, he really had to be there. Every time he scores, us drunk assholes and those who's are on our feet. He still got big old fat surgically repaired nuts, if you ask me, from Mike.
Who's Derrick Rhodes?
Yeah, Derrick Rose.
Oh, Derrick Rose. I just said Rhodes. I was like, what? Sorry, I was like, I'm not familiar with it. Yeah, no, Derrick Rose.
What if there was a guy named Derrick Rhodes that was this good that you had never heard of? That would be so weird.
Like, yeah, no, I think Derrick Rose is, at this point of his career, maybe a good off the bench guy. I don't think he's a starting point guard on a strong team anymore, in my opinion.
Sure. And actually, the rumor around him was that was a target for the Lakers. They were going to try and get him the way he was going to be their addition after. You don't think so? I think that makes sense.
I don't.
I think it makes sense. Second unit.
I think
extra
Rondo
ball handling.
I think Rondo is a superior point guard.
They're similar. It's a platoon between them.
Rondo's a better defender and a better passer. And
better passer. D Rose is a better scorer, though. He is.
He's a better scorer.
The one skill he still has is getting to the cup.
He's a one-on-one scorer, no question. But he is not as good a team player as Rondo is. In his prime, Rose is superior to any point guard playing.
Right. Well,
I'm not trying to disrespect the guy.
Sure. But I do think the $7 million is a real thing. His number is low, but at the same time, that means you'd think someone has to give up at least a shitty first rounder for him.
Really? Maybe you're right. I also think
typically at a midseason,
we're talking about the Pistons. We're talking about Christian Wood right now, who is an interesting player.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing, though. That's a good point, though, because the Pistons is also an important thing to note is that, like, who the fuck else was going to score on that team? Although I guess you could say he was facing a lot of, starting units, but also not a lot of fucking teams are giving their all against the Pistons, especially the second half of the season. So those numbers might be juiced a little bit. But to Mike, our boy Michael Toner's point here, I actually think he is a pretty I think he does make sense. I mean, I think he does make sense on the Lakers because they just need more ball handling, and I think he's solid.
Maybe he has like a Grant Hill-esque resurgence in the second half of his career, and he can be a solid role player the way Hill was.
I think I think so.
He's
I
32,
think so. Yeah.
as we've said. We talk about these guys like they're so old. He's 32 on multiple injuries.
Multiple injuries, but he's looked good the last few years, and
He's looked somewhat explosive on the Pistons last year. I just don't. I think he's a second unit guy, but I do think he could be a good second unit guy.
But I think a really good one, and also in a pinch he can start for you, and he's been there before, and he's
watched him on the Knicks that year and the MIA thing. I think
that was him still trying to figure the comeback out.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think he has.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm being hard on him.
I wonder if there's any rumors for anywhere else for him to go. Because I do Lakers is the most that I heard.
Is LeBron going to get two of his former nemesis rings in Dwight Howard and Derrick Rose?
Yeah. You know what? The Sixers kind of make sense just for ball handling. They need more ball handlers because you don't want Ben Simmons to do it.
I disagree.
The Magic,
another one-on-one player with no range.
Who are their point guards though? Name another point guard on the roster.
On the Sixers? I don't know, but I don't think my point is I don't think Rose fits on the Sixers at all.
Just more ball handling, freeing up Ben Simmons, and I'm not saying again second unit guy who can play some first unit minutes. I don't think it's necessarily a horrible match.
Maybe he wouldn't be one of he wouldn't be. We'll see what Morey does. I don't think it's a great fit. I think you can get more out of him elsewhere, but
maybe just fucking put him back on the Bulls. No, that doesn't make sense. The Magic have needed a point guard. That makes a lot. That makes sense.
There's rumors
to me.
of the Magic trying to trade up in this year's draft, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Magic might, but I mean, does he want to play there? Does he want to be a role player on a good team and taste some championship air? But you never know with these guys.
Do you want to pull a reverse Dwight and play with big franchises your whole career and then end up in fucking Orlando?
Yeah. Okay. Good question there from Mike.
What else we got on the old mailbag? This is
from Andrew Machulski. My dudes, the bubble worked, but I think it worked for more than just COVID reasons. NBA teams won't play in Disney World forever, but it's not a shitty idea for two money-losing basketball products, the G League and the WNBA. G League is the minors. There's no good reason to have teams in Stockton or Erie. Summer League can handle being 100% in Vegas. Why not put the entire G League someplace like Kansas City? Same with the WNBA, actually. Fuck it. The Connecticut Sun got it right. WNBA only plays in casinos. Who says no? The players say no. The coaches say no.
They have families. That's insane. Also, the WNBA, you need to realize, is still building. It didn't have the proper support, I would say, from the from the get-go it did, but over the years it hasn't. It is hard to find WNBA.
It sucks too because it did feel like the last few years the WNBA was ascendant and that and the product was getting better. Social media helps. And also, let's be honest, the coverage of it is like fairer now than it's ever been. Like people, I also like as somebody who follows all levels of basketball somewhat, like now it's like I see highlights of like really dynamic, like high school, like girl players, the way you see high school boys, like you see the mixtapes, you see the prospects, you see their college highlights. I think it's out there a lot more. I think I do actually think, media is sort of getting that right. And I also think, they're doing for the first time ever a WNBA My Player on this year's 2K, which I think is a no-brainer. But
I want to create a woman with one eyebrow who's just fucking just a black hole in the post. I'm like, that's me, dude. Hell yeah. If I Juwanna Man this shit?
Yes. I was gonna say you create your Juwanna Man. I watched that movie in theaters, by the way.
Oh, it's not good.
It's not good, but shouts out to East Point Mall. The movie's 10 at Regal. It used to be Regal. Anyway, now I think Andrew, the point Andrew's getting at is like the non-pandemic reasons around the bubble, and I do think there was something exciting and fun about a lot of basketball. It almost felt like an international tournament. It had the excitement of like the World Cup or like you know,
like King of the Ring or something.
yeah, it's that to me is good. I would like the NBA when the pandemic, you know, when ironically, you can't really do it now because if we're not going to go to a bubble, then having all the teams in one place is a really bad idea. The only way that makes sense is if it's, you know, through bubble protocols. Otherwise, you risk infecting the whole league at one event. That's why there won't be an all-star game this year.
Sucks
But
so much. Love All-Star Weekend.
yeah, I mean,
Makes
it's fine, but you know,
yeah. No, if we have to lose something, that's
the thing to lose for sure. But
as a fan, I fucking love
it always feels
contest.
it's cool.
I love the skills. I love all that shit.
The game this year was actually good.
Yeah.
So, but I do think I would like to see something where it's like they play. I think a midseason tournament's a good idea. I think even some kind of group stage part of the regular season would be cool, where it's like 5 teams in your group, you play them, and then you play some kind of tournament like the World Cup, some shit like that. That would I will agree with him that the bubble has made it fun to have just all these teams competing. And guess what? It improved the quality of basketball. Without travel, that's why we saw so many great games. Those guys weren't fucking tired. They didn't have to switch time zones over and over again. So, and one thing that is actually kind of upsetting to me about what the NBA is doing now, it basically seems like they're just like, look, we can't lose money. Their proposal is like, let's just rush a shitty version of what we always do. Whereas I think it would have been interesting for them to do something like a couple regional bubbles where they racked up a lot of games in 2 weeks, you know, or
get some fucking rivalries kicking. Also,
get some rivalries again. Play every other game, every other day.
If you give it like 1 to 2 months, you might figure out getting fans back.
I don't think you can wait for that though.
Probably not. But they, as you said, they were doing this to solidify the next season. It feels like to be like, let's get this in the can so we don't lose momentum for the next season when this comes back.
Right. Exactly. But I do think so. For your specific question, you know, I don't think they can play in a bubble, but he's basically saying like, can they all play in one city? I still think logistically that's a little frustrating and annoying, but I think the bubble experience has showed us that like some kind of tournament where everyone's the same place and you play a lot of games in a short period of time. I'd be interested in that. I'd watch a G League tournament. I mean, I don't watch college basketball. I straight up don't, but of course.
It's like a reality show. We get to just be introduced to like new stars. It's fucking cool.
Yeah.
There are good stories.
That's true. Marketing wise, it's good too, for sure. And you're right. They should highlight those stories. I mean, Fred VanVleet is a fucking former G Leaguer. Duncan Robinson, G Leaguer. Yeah.
We just talked about
And I think actually that's a good idea for the same reason.
Lance Thomas for the Knicks who signed a big deal with the Knicks. And then what's his name? Nunn was a G Leaguer, was he not? I mean,
Yep, he was.
Players who are excelling at the highest level really paid their dues. It's good. It's a good feel good stories.
Yeah. So and G League oftentimes has like interesting coaches. Jerry Stackhouse was a G League coach for a while. Like you get personalities. Yeah, you get.
He's a legit coach.
Word on the street.
Word on the street.
Word on the street. So yeah, interesting question there, Andrew. And for the same reason, for the WNBA. I would love to watch some kind of like that's the problem. If the WNBA bubble happened and it wasn't up against the NBA bubble, I would have watched so much of it. True. But I was a little basketballed out. I got to be honest, to watch 2 leagues at once. But I absolutely would watch some kind of hyper condensed like tournaments, you know, bubble thing.
I really like how the Seattle Storm play. It's fun to watch. I love Brianna Stewart.
Yeah, she's crazy.
And Sue Bird is a legend.
Yeah. Congrats to Sue Bird getting engaged to Megan Rapinoe. How the fuck do you say her name?
I think Rapinoe. I don't know. I don't know why I just gave you an answer when I don't know.
Peer pressure, that's why.
Peer pressure, dog. Let's do another.
All right, let's do fucking another. What do I got here? Fuck, I lost the window. God damn it.
Look?
I got something here. Hold on. I haven't even read this one, so whatever the fuck. Can I go back? Did these get deleted? No. Okay, sorry. Sorry, folks. This is from Todd Quigley. Hey, Sam and Stav, love the show. I had a chance to shoot around on the parquet at the old Boston Garden in the early 90s. and can confirm the famed dead spots were 100% real. If you can see past your hatred of all things Celtics, can you think of other venues that provided such a home field advantage over the years? Not the fans, the venue itself. MSG, the Palace, the Forum, the Spectrum. Interesting question there from
I don't
Todd
actually
Quigley.
know, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people talked about Chicago Stadium before they went to the United Center, that motherfucker was rocking. And it was like, and Jordan didn't actually really like playing in the United Center compared to Chicago Stadium. But in terms of who has had like these crazy home field advantages, that's the actual arenas. I'm not sure. I mean, people talk about Denver, just because the altitude.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, honestly, New York has the home field advantage because a lot of teams fucking go out and try and get their dick sucked. Everyone goes clubbing.
Yes and no, because the on the fringe players maybe, but the greats want to show out at the Garden.
That's true.
Dwayne Wade, Giannis, LeBron, Kobe. The list goes on and on.
That's true. That LeBron always has good games.
They come here and fuck us up.
Jordan, that's true.
Double nickel when he.
That's true.
Like, Jordan was like 4 games back when he came back, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll just destroy the Knicks. I've been rusty from
this.
Baseball.
Feels good, yeah.
And he did it in those fucking shitty ass Jordan 1s, which you should not be playing hoops in.
That were a half size too small too. There was fucking feet were bleeding. That's a good point. So I guess Brooklyn has that. The people will be going out in Brooklyn. Miami probably has that.
I don't think so, because I think now with Brooklyn, now that their team is really good, I don't know.
No one gives a fuck about it the way they do MSG.
You're right.
Unless they have
I'm happy you said that.
Unless they have a personal rivalry with KD or Kyrie.
Yeah, the Warriors ain't going out.
For sure. So interesting. We should do a little fucking research there, Todd. Sorry, pal.
Draymond might get Hamilton tickets, but other than that, you see the clip of him taking Nick Young to Hamilton?
No, I haven't seen
that. He took Nick Young to Hamilton.
That's pretty fucking
making
good.
Nick Young get some culture.
Let's see. I haven't even read this one. Ian Rosenblum says,
"Oh yeah, try, baby."
Which players have the highest and lowest production to penis size ratio, or what I'm calling the overcompensation ratio? Maybe per inches, PER inches. Interesting.
This is pure speculation, obviously, and it's also not really fair because, like, we'd have to say by the way they play. Like, by the way they play, you'd have to be like, well, Russ has a small penis. I mean, I don't think he does, but by the way he plays,
yes.
that Westbrook's playing style, like, very emotional.
Right. You know what? We should call this the Napoleon Index. That's what the PER. Yes, we like this, Ian. Thank you for the Napoleon Index.
But then also, like, it's not really fair to just assume, like, because you could call this like almost like chip on your shoulder. Because I think John Starks was like the ultimate chip on your shoulder emotional player. But that doesn't mean I think he's got a small dong. I'm not about to start that rumor about my main man, Johnny Starks, for the corner.
That's right. But this is interesting. Which players have the highest and lowest production to penis size ratio? Well, you'd have to start with people that are just giant sized, right? So Boban's dick is probably hysterically big. Yeah. Just if you look at the man's thumb,
if you strapped that thing on TJ McConnell, you'd be like, what is going on?
TJ McConnell could not be in the NBA if he had Boban's dick. It would fuck up his pelvis. His pelvic floor.
He's one of those people that's walking around New York who's just like bent in half.
Yeah. Yeah, all those guys with horrible posture, huge cocks. So yeah, Boban's thumb is bigger than my dick. So I can't even imagine what his dick looks like. But he's not. So I think you're looking at, historically your guys like Sean Bradley, very tall guys with maybe long dicks that don't. Although it would be really funny if Sean Bradley had like the smallest dick of all time. That would be pretty good on that big a frame.
I do feel like it's got to be long. It may be thin, but it's
got to be thin and long. But you know what? Not that long. As it's small in proportion, but still pretty big.
Like a Twizzler pulling peel. That's his dick,
Yes, absolutely. The highest production to penis size ratio. So the top of the.
This is a tough one because it is hard to just assume because I don't want to assume. I don't assume any of these guys have like a small dick.
But statistically, somebody does.
Somebody does.
Statistically, even like a tall.
So do you think the small dick energy is laziness, or do you think that's big dick energy because you're like, I have nothing to prove? I think the over.
He's
Like-
saying production to penis size straight up. It's a pure mathematical equation. You know.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood the question.
I think a lot of the greats are almost 1-to-1. I think Harden.
Does triple double mean you have a small dick?
No. Why would that? Why would it mean that? It means you're. That's just high production, and then we're comparing a triple double to how big your dick is. So who are the guys with a little ass dick that perform the best, and who are the guys with a little?
Well,
ass
that's
dick?
my point. Is like they're performing so well. Are they performing that well to make up for it, or are they performing that well because they're like, "Fuck it, I'm the man. This is how I do."
Right.
Is it a swag attack or is it an overcompensation?
But that's what it's. I think it's like, you know, for example, I think Giannis's dick. I think it's a 1-to-1. I think he has a huge dick and he has great production.
Well, it's unsurprising that you take this stance.
Harden,
on your favorite player.
I'm just saying, I think he's 1-to-1.
You think your favorite player is blessed in every
Huge
way?
dick, yeah,
Yes.
huge dick, and numbers we haven't seen since Shaq.
Although I'll say this: we speculated about Shaq's penis on the podcast.
That's right.
And you said you're not feeling great about it.
Something is just. I think it's big, obviously, but not big for Shaq's size. That's what I'll say about Shaq.
Shaq, there is the famous story that just came out. Shaq's favorite moment with Miami was a naked shower fight with Dorell Wright, who I'm going to anticipate. I'm going to assume had a big penis. Dorell Wright.
Interesting. I didn't see that.
Pure shooter.
Yes, I remember Dorell Wright, but probably had a nice dong.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Shaq said. What story is that? Shaquille O'Neal and it's comically involves Dorell Wright. Let's bring this up here.
Oh, you know that I'm finding all the fun Pod Don't Lie anecdotes.
During a text message session with his Heat teammates, O'Neal stated that his favorite moment with the team was not the 2006 title, but his naked fight with Dorell Wright. My favorite moment was when you trying to fight me naked in the shower and Udonis didn't want to break us up. LOL. Udonis definitely wasn't on that gay shit.
Yeah, Udonis is like, I'm only enforcer on the court. Fuck this shower bullshit.
Wright, on the other hand, stated that his favorite moment was when Pat Riley, who was the head coach then, almost threw him out of the locker room because of a bad loss. He revealed that back then Riley used to play clips and ask players why they played how they did.
I fucking love Riley so much.
While some fans found the situation funny, many were confused as to why O'Neal brought up the whole thing. That's enough Shaq news for this week, wrote one fan. Yeah, that is very interesting why he was fighting nude. Respect to Shaq, dude. Yeah, do you think Dorell Wright has a bigger penis than Shaq? That's the question.
No, just based on size alone.
But is it the same size? Maybe he's got a huge dick.
Pod Don't Lie asks all the questions that other shows are too scared to ask. I think I'm still taking Shaq just based on his enormous. I mean, Shaq is gigantic, dude. In width alone, Shaq has got to have a big dick.
Sure. But I think Dorell Wright, I think this says to me, you're not going to fight Shaq somewhere where you don't have an advantage. And Dorell Wright, with clothes on, he's a whatever. What was he, 6'3"? How tall was Dorell Wright? Do you remember? Approximately?
6'8".
Oh, damn, he was that big?
He's a big guy.
Yeah, anyway.
Here's the thing, though. Here's where I disagree. Who's got the championship?
6'9".
pedigree?
You're right.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Oh, dude, I say Dorell Wright's got a bigger dick than Shaq. How about that?
Here's why
I say he does.
Here's why I disagree. Maybe it's like on the same level lengthwise.
That's
in terms of width. There's not even a discussion.
No,
Shaq,
hold on.
there's no
Hold on.
chance.
This is a bad point because you've never been a man of size. You've never been a man who knows. If anything, the fatter you get, your dick gets smaller. I'll have you know. And Shaq, if we'll recall, in LSU was a pretty trim guy. He happened to be big, right?
True.
So if anything, By that point, Shaq is fatter. His dick is not what it used to be in college. Dorell Wright is 6'9", but he's 200 pounds. Shaq is 7 foot, but 350, maybe even 400 pounds.
7'1". He's 7'1".
7'1", 350, maybe even 400.
You're talking about championship pedigree. Who brought a knowingness how to win to Miami that year? Shaq was fearless. Shaq said, I've won 3 times with Kobe. I was the finals MVP. I know how to set myself up to win after my failures in Orlando. I'm taking this to the shower where I know I have a chance against a small forward.
No. Dorell Wright said, I'm tired. Shaq's been getting on me. I'm tired of his viral pranks. He keeps trying to get me on his new TBS show. And I'm tired of this disrespect. I'm stripping. I'm getting nude. I know this the only place in the world where I am bigger than Shaq is my dick. And I'm going to remind him, even though he's double my weight and got 3 inches in height on me, I have 4 inches in dick length on him.
Interesting point. Shaq was in his prank show mode. He was also in the mode where he thought he had the comedy chops to do like Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers, multiple character comedies. Where you're like, wow, Shaq might be getting reckless.
That's right.
Me back around here, and you're making an excellent point.
So I'm gonna go with Dorell Wright. Fought the one place he had an advantage, dick wise. He had a big psychological advantage over Shaq, and he knew no one would break them up on account of not wanting to get in the middle of that meet. So, I think that's as good a place as a spirited discussion on Dorell Wright versus Shaq's penis is as good a place as any to end this week's podcast. That's going to do it. That's going to do it for us, folks. Thank you so much for these great questions that spark these beautiful discussions.
Hot up, man. I like the mailbag. I kind of like a hint of mailbag every
mailbag every time just to get us connect us to the people. So thank you everyone for listening. We'll be back with a Patreon this weekend, and we got some really good guests, really nice guests cooking for you. We should look into that draft episode. I'm getting into the draft zone right now. Maybe we
Bleacher Report guy. I think
that's hit up our guy. So thank you guys so much for listening. We will be back, like we said, this week later on for a Patreon episode. And, of course, next week, probably do a little draft preview. So thank you guys. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.